Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by the Belly Up Sports Network. And today we're going to go into the new hires for the coaching staff. But right now, I'm going to toss it to my good friend, the man of steel himself, Kurt Steele.
Hey, what up, dude? Welcome to the show, people. You know who we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. And as always, join the channel. Come and be part of the family. Subscribe. You know, you can get your content right here from us. We are your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. So subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment on the videos. All of these things help us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. And don't forget, you can join us weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on our channel for the premieres of our show. You can chat with the staff of the show during the premieres. And if you want to get your comments right up front, for a little bit of cheddar, you can get a super chat and get your comments right up front where you want them to be. So let's get this thing started
right now.
Let's go. Hey, welcome back to the show, people. It's time to get into these three new coaching hires. We already covered Calvin Shepard the other day, so let's get into the three guys we did not cover. So, Jim, who do you have first?
I got Brian Duker. The Lions are hiring former Ravens defensive assistant Brian Duker to the team. He joins the defense as an assistant for the 2021 upcoming season after spending 3 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens. He joined that team in 2018 as a defensive assistant / coaching analyst before being promoted in 2019 to coaching analyst for their defense. We got a pretty good defense over there, I've heard, in Baltimore.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Prior to the Ravens, Duker had stops in San Francisco as a defensive analyst and the Cleveland Browns as a defensive intern. Oh, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Duker's first coaching experience outside the NFL was at the University of Missouri, where he served as a recruiting graduate assistant for 2013 to 2014 and defensive quality control coach 2014-2015. He's a Maryland native, and he earned his bachelor's degree in Townsend University and an MBA from Bryant University. His connection to the Lions staff, maybe through the defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, who spent 1 year alongside with the Browns when Glenn was the assistant defensive backs coach. So there is some connection there. In the past 3 seasons, the Ravens have continued the defensive dominance that has assumed their identity for well over a decade now. They're ranked 4th, 5th, and 9th. Oh, wow. If we had, 14th would be good for us. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, for real.
In overall defense of the past 3 years, while allowing second, third, and second fewest points in 2018, 2019, and 2020, respectively.
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
That's some defense.
Last, 32nd.
We would go we were 30th and then 31st and then 32nd in defense over the last 3 years.
But you know what? We keep assembling talented minds, talented people.
Definitely.
And for the next talented person that we just hired, we're going to go to Kurt. Who you got?
All right. Seth Ryan. Ryan joins the Lions as the team's assistant wide receivers coach for the upcoming season. The past 4 years, he was with the Los Angeles Chargers, serving as a coaching intern from 2017 to 2018 and an offensive quality control coach from 2019 to 2020. In his stint in LA, Ryan worked with with the team's receivers and helped guide wide receivers like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen to 1,000-yard seasons in that span. Allen made the Pro Bowl in all 4 years working with Ryan and produced a franchise record 104 receptions in 2019. Ryan is a wide receiver from the Clemson Tigers, where he helped the Tigers win the 2016 college football playoff national championship. That's the one with Deshaun Watson. Now, he brings some youth to the team. The fella is only 26 years of age. So we get years younger. Man, a lot of players on the team are older than this guy. So it's like, wow, but he brings that youth and he brings the ability to relate to the younger players on the team.
So you can see what they're doing here in Detroit. Because can everybody see it? They're bringing in the bright young talent that can be developed into, like when they brought in Bob Quinn and they thought about Matt Patricia, those guys, the thought was they were bringing in some younger minds, at those positions, the not as experienced, but the up and comers. Well, what they did this time is they brought in those up and comers, those bright young minds, but they also brought in the experience to help those bright young minds make pretty good decisions too. So this whole thing is being built for now and the future. Just amazing what they're doing here. So
who's the last guy you got?
Well, the third individual that we have today, it's Todd Wash. Wash joins the Lions as the defensive line coach. So everybody was asking, who's the new defensive line coach? We did not know until today. His name is Todd Wash. It's his 26th season as a coach and his 15th in the NFL.
Wow. Now that's some experience. So that's the other guys were the younger guys. They've only been in the NFL a couple of years, but here you go. Defensive line coach experience.
Absolutely. Todd Walsh served as the head coach at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado from 1996 to 1999. Guy has head coaching experience.
Yeah.
Compiling a record of 11-31. Well, not really good experience. His first coaching season coaching was in 98 when his team went 0-10. Well, we have some experience with that.
Well, I mean, you think about the talent he's getting out at Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado.
Right.
I don't think he's getting a good talent pool out there to deal with.
Recruiting might be a little tough there.
Yeah, I think so.
In 2011 and 2012, he was defensive line coach for the Seattle Seahawks. They had a pretty doggone good defensive line. So
yeah, they did.
2013 to 2015, he was a defensive line and run game coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Run game coordinator is interesting as well.
Yeah.
Wash served as the defensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars from 2016 to 2020. So he's been a defensive coordinator for 4 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Prior to going to Jacksonville, he spent the 2011-2012 seasons as the Seattle defensive line coach and served as defensive line coach and quality control coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He also played linebacker for North Dakota State prior to his coaching career. So this guy's been at it for a while.
Yeah, he has some ties to that ties him to Trey Lance. That's where he goes to school, North Dakota State.
Yes.
So, I mean, looking at that, he has a lot of experience. Think about some of the defensive lines he had down there in Jacksonville, and Joku and a couple of the guys. They had a really good defense back when Jalen Ramsey was there. They just really just emptied that bank account out of last year where they got rid of everyone. But he had a pretty good defense down there in Jacksonville. So I'm not mad at all with this hire for the defensive line. So you have a former coordinator. You have a former coordinator taking over your line. That's some experience.
Yeah. And he helps the other people, like the defensive assistant that we hired. All this works together, folks. It all works together. And the thought, I can see what they're doing. The thought is bringing experience in with the up and coming superstar people. So you don't have you have these names of people that are up and coming in it. Oh, we want this guy. We want that guy. Okay. So we took some of those guys to develop, but we also have the people and the individuals in place with the experience to actually help them.
They can fat Joe. They can lean back on them. You know what I'm saying? And get that experience and that coaching know-how from the guys who have been doing it. Hey, all right. Hey, that's our main course for today. Hey, don't forget, you can take our show on the go with the download audio version of our show. If you can't catch us live or just watch it, you can take it on the go and you can listen to that on Skull Candy headphones. You can click the link below, find yourself some quality audio hardware with Skull Candy headphones, and you can listen to our show on the go. And you can get it where? On the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Go over there. You can find our show there and a myriad of podcasts and some hard-hitting columns written by some excellent writers over there on the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Now we're going to take a look at an interview I did with my man, Sheriff Joe Back. You said you were going to the interview.
Read the run sheet.
Is it going news and rumors?
Yeah, that's what we said.
Okay, 5 seconds, and then I'll go to news and rumors.
We are really good today.
We can cut that out.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just do I can do 5, 6, and I'll do the CTA again, and then you can just cut that out. All right. Hey, don't forget, you can catch our show. If you can't catch it live, you can download the audio version of this show in the podcast form. Click in the link below, or you can check it out on bellyupsports.com. And you can listen to that show on what? On some Skull Candy headphones. Click the link below. There's a myriad of deals down there you can find, and you can get some quality audio hardware on the Skull Candy website. And proceeds from that link, a portion of them, go to help us grow this show. Now it's time to head over to news and rumors. Jim, what you got first?
Well, first, we're going to look at the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, happy, grateful, and ready for the new opportunity after the trade. The quarterback, Jared Goff, says he's ready to move on in the aftermath of a blockbuster trade that dealt him from the Los Angeles Rams to the Detroit Lions. He says, and I quote, as the quarterback, as the guy that is arguably the most important position on the field, if you're in a place that you're not wanted and they want to move on from you, the feeling's mutual.
Yeah. Don't miss words, baby.
Fire there, man.
Don't miss no words. Baby. Don't miss no words.
You don't want to be in the wrong place. It became increasingly clear that was the case. On Saturday, the Rams traded Goff, not officially, of course, along with 2 first-round draft picks and a 3rd-round draft pick. That's how much they wanted to get rid of him. To the Lions in exchange for quarterback Matthew Stafford. Goff, the number 1 pick in 2016 draft, told the Los Angeles Times that he was unsure when the Rams decided he would not be a part of their future. That's an amazing quote. I think there's a fire under him, and I'll be anxious to see what happens with the quarterback position in Detroit next year. I don't know. Give the kid a chance. You never know what could happen, you know?
Hey, you never know. He's got that fire in his belly. All right. Next up, we have Lions rookie class of 2020 amongst the NFL's worst.
No surprise.
Yeah, no surprise there. And this is coming from LionsWire.com. Friend of the show over there, Eric Schlett. All right. Among the many reasons for the Detroit Lions struggle is the last place 2020 season is a lack of immediate impact from the rookie class. A team that needed a lot of contributing talent from the draft picks did not get nearly enough in the first year. In ESPN's tally of the impact of the 22 rookie class, the Lions are above just 2 other teams, the Jaguars and the Broncos. Obviously, injuries to their 2 top picks. Okudah, Jeff Okudah had that injury. He should not have been playing anyway. And running back DeAndre Swift hampered the impact. 3rd runner Junior Quarry barely played due to his own injuries. So you can't make impacts if the guys aren't on the field. And so did 4th runner Logan Stenberg being a healthy scratch all of the season, despite a myriad of injuries to the offensive line. I think that fella just wasn't really ready to play. All right, cutting 5th round running back Jason Huntley before the season did not help either, nor did final pick Jason Cornell going to the IR and early in the training camp. Now, the one thing it does not show is that we had 2 rookies that played really well during the season. And that was one John Penisini on the defensive line and Jonah Jackson on the offensive line. So we had some production, but when you have most of your draft picks are out due to injury, you're not going to get a lot of impact from those guys.
I thought Swift played pretty well when he wasn't injured. And Jashawn Cornell, that was before we even started the season, and he was on IR for the year, so we didn't know him. Huntley, I thought, was a ridiculously stupid move to cut him. I thought that was dumb. 4th runner Logan Stenberg, I do know a little bit about that situation where he was really stiff coming out as a lineman, where he just doesn't have the bend that he needed to be a pass blocking guard. So they have to work on his flexibility. They have to work on a couple of different things in the past thing. I think they just spent the year working with him. I'm hoping that he comes up and is the starter next year. That would fill a big hole on the right-hand side, on the right side. I put him on the left side. I put Jonah Jackson on the right side because Stenberg has only played left guard his entire career. So I would put him where he's more comfortable. I'd move Jonah Jackson back to the right. And then, of course, Vaitai, which some people like and I don't. On the right side.
On the right tackle.
I would
Actually,
somebody to stabilize.
I put Crosby out there before I put Big V out there.
Yeah, but Big V had a foot injury the entire
year.
year.
Yeah, he did.
And he isn't best with footwork anyway, so I think that hindered his progress.
Yeah, he couldn't get on the good foot. All right, Jim, who you got?
He only
next?
had one, so
he couldn't
Nate
get on
Burleson
that thing.
shares his thoughts on the Detroit Lions and the Matthew Stafford trade. Former Detroit Lions receiver Nate Burleson spoke to the media outlets on Tuesday. He made his rounds, man. He was on every show. I just watched a lot of
Yeah, Nate was on a lot of stuff.
He shared his opinions on Matthew Stafford no longer being a part of the organization. Burleson credits Stafford with having a proper attitude and feels like the Rams acquiring him to take a serious stab at winning the Lombardi Trophy. Yeah, he believes that it's like they're in win now mode. Burleson said to see him leave Detroit, it's unfortunate. This would be the equivalent of the Lions trading Calvin Johnson to a contender, which they probably should have. He said, I'm a little sad for Detroit, the city, but they lose a player they put so much work into here, and he's going down in the history books as a Lion, but I'm happy for him individually as a man. There is one more quote about Nate Burleson that he said when he got to Detroit, that somebody told him, welcome to hell. And that he had signed a 5-year deal, and this individual he did not name, but basically just said this is the worst, one of the worst organizations and all this stuff. And it's sad to see someone else come in to our organization like Nate Burleson, who has worn his Beverly Hills Detroit Lions coat proudly.
He takes his time in Detroit as a Badger. Like he's connected to Detroit. He loves the Lions. He loves Detroit. And of all the teams he played for some good organizations. He played for Minnesota at a good time where Randy Moss was there. He played out in Seattle, during the Beast Mode era. And for him to have that connection with Detroit as one of the cities that he played for, you got to take that with a big smile, because Nate Burleson, I mean, he's very outspoken. You knew he was going to be a person in the media, just looking at his interviews and how he acted with the media in Detroit. So you can see that on the horizon for him. But for him to really speak out and stand up for Detroit, I remember a couple of years at the draft where he said that that Detroit was the heartbeat of America. So, that's really big.
Nate Burleson.
Yeah, Nate. Yeah, Nate the Great is pretty cool. That's Nate my dude right there. What would they call him? Robo Slot. That's what he called himself.
Just don't order a pizza.
Yeah, don't order a pizza, man. He still jokes about that to this day. He still jokes about that to this day. All right, the last one. The notes is the Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell, or a man said Dan Campbell. He said he seems to really like Lions linebacker Jared Davis. He's scheduled to be a free agent for the upcoming offseason, which is a surprise for a lot of people. But he's has been saying that when he's been making his run with the media. What do you have on that, Jim?
I like Jared Davis. I think around the league, Jared Davis is held in higher regard than he is in Detroit, which happens for most people here, it seems like. But Jared Davis has speed. He just needs to be coached. I don't think he was coached his entire time here.
Yeah,
they just let him
go.
They didn't make anybody better. That's kind of the problem.
You know what? I have to agree with that 100% on that defensive side of the ball. The defensive side just never really got better.
But he has speed, and that's something we don't have. You can't just get rid of somebody that has that kind of speed. You need to take him under your wing and you need to coach him up. And I think we have the staff to do that now.
Definitely. I can definitely see, if we get rid of some of those bigger contracts where you can, re-sign Jared Davis, even if it's to a short-term deal. And I think he probably will want to play for somebody like Dan Campbell. There's not a lot of people who don't want to play for someone like Dan Campbell.
That's right.
He wants you to, he gets you running with your hair on fire. I mean, that's just who he is. Okay. All right. That's the news and rumors for today. All right. Hey, let's check out some Rams perspective on the Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff trade. I recently interviewed a friend of mine. He is Sheriff Joe Baggs. He is the host of the Rams Showcase podcast. My man brings it. He gives us the fire, and he gives us a glimpse of what we're getting with one Jared Goff. Hey, welcome back to the show, people. You know what it is. It is time to see Who's at the Table. And today we have Joe Branham, a.k.a. Sheriff Joe Baggs, longtime Rams fan. And for the last 4 years, he's been the host of Ram Showcase podcast. So welcome in my man, Joe Branham, to talk about the Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford trade.
Dude, Kurt, first of all, man, thank you so much for having me. I always enjoy talking to you, man. Thank you.
Hey, man, it's always good, man. So first of all, what was your reaction when you saw that the Rams traded Jared Goff to the Lions for all those picks and for Matthew Stafford?
So I'll tell you this, Kurt. So I liked Jared Goff. I've always been a Jared Goff fan. It goes back to his senior year at Cal when he beat the crap out of the Air Force Falcons, which is my home team out here in Colorado Springs. Beat him up real bad, and his deep ball intrigued me. So I was like, all right, I'm going to follow this kid. And then he ended up coming to the Rams. So I've been a big supporter of him, but I've also liked Matt Stafford for a few years. So I'll show you what it looked like, man. I pull out my phone. I see the notification, and it went a little bit like this. It was like, oh, well, and that was literally the reaction because it was it was excited to see Matt Stafford coming to LA, sad to see Jared Goff go, and then the realization that I really do think that this is the right move at this time for the LA Rams.
Right. I would say some Lions fans probably echo your sentiment. So what are we getting in Jared Goff? Because a lot of Lions fans are kind of skeptical about Jared Goff. They have their ideas of what he is as a player and a quarterback. But what, as a Rams fan and someone who supported him, what are we getting in Jared Goff?
I mean, first and foremost, you are getting one tough SOB, all right? And I know that you guys are coming off of one in Matt Stafford. He's real tough too. But Jared Goff has missed one game in his career due to injury. I mean, I think that's pretty big. And the kid is a competitor. It's unfortunate to see that in the last, I would say half of this season, it really looked like his confidence had kind of fallen just a little bit. But what I think the Lions can provide to him, and maybe not necessarily this year, I don't know if this year is going to be one of those years we look at Jared Goff and go like, oh, man, we made a mistake. But with that Dan Campbell attitude that he's bringing into Detroit, I think Jared Goff and Dan Campbell, I think that's a good combination. We saw we felt pretty good about the McVay and Goff combo, but I think that Dan Campbell attitude, that Motor City Dan Campbell attitude that he's bringing in, man, I think that's going to fit really well with Jared Goff. He is a pretty gritty guy, and when he's on, he's on. So you definitely get yourself a competitor. He's got one hell of an arm, man. And I'm excited to see what he does out there. I'm definitely not rooting against him. That's for sure.
Definitely. And a lot of Lions fans are rooting for Matthew Stafford out there in LA as well. So with that being said, do you think that the Rams gave up too much for Matthew Stafford?
Not necessarily. And I think a big part of that is because, of course, the Rams give up, two ones and a 3. But in a weird backwards way, I mean, the Rams just really don't value first-round picks like most teams do. Some teams see first-round picks as like this ultimate prize, and if you can get that, you're gold. And the Rams just don't see it that way. And Jared Goff is the Rams' most recent first-round pick, and so since the Rams returned to LA, we've had one, and that was Goff. And it's just, I don't think it's too much, and a big part of that is because the Lions were so willing to take on so much of the contract. And I mean, the Rams are just eating it's a little over $22 million in dead cap this year that the Rams are eating, but that's it. And then the Rams' obligation is done to Goff. So not only do you move on from a contract that maybe is a little too high, maybe was given a little too early, but in return, you get a guy who's experienced, is super tough, just right in that toughness level as Goff, and also who has not been on a roster this talented before. And that's not to take a shot at your Lions there, but it hasn't been around this much talent before.
No.
So
I mean, We know that in Detroit. We know we didn't. We know we didn't have that much talent around Matthew Stafford.
It's not me taking a shot. It's just, I mean, the Rams have a lot of really good players right now, and that hasn't always been the case, But to put Stafford in that situation, especially without the ones that the Rams are obviously lacking right now, Rams are trying to win right now, and Matt Stafford gives us a better chance to do that. So no, I don't think the Rams gave up too much.
Okay, let's kind of switch gears. Now, we want to discuss what are your thoughts about the other individuals that we got from LA in the offseason. What do you think about our staff hires from you guys with Brad Holmes, Ray Agnew, and one guy that I know that a lot of Rams fans are going to miss in Aubrey Pleasant?
Yes. So we'll start with Ray Agnew. He did, of course, play for the Rams, was part of the Super Bowl team. So that's pretty cool that he was able to do that and then also become part of the staff. As far as what he did in the front office, that wasn't necessarily in the forefront of what was going on. So, I'm happy for him. Ray Agnew, he's a great guy. I've seen, so a lot of his interviews and stuff is just like, he just gets it. He's a football guy, and that's obviously awesome. And anytime that you can bring in a guy who's just eat, sleep, breathe football, that's a positive. For Brad Holmes, I mean, he started for the Rams back in 2003 in St. Louis, and he was just an assistant scout at the time, and over the years was able to work his way up, and for the last 7 years held the role of the director of college scouting, where if you look at the Rams' last 7 draft classes, brought in some really good players, and even lacking some first-round picks, the Rams have brought in some talent. So he was definitely part of that. And the Rams, of course, didn't have a general manager position open. Les make a deal Snead is what we call him out in LA, but he's obviously not going anywhere. And Brad Holmes is absolutely 100%, without a single doubt in my mind, deserving of a GM job. So because we didn't have one, it sucks to see him go, but I'm happy for him that he gets to go and participate in that position now. And you mentioned Aubrey Pleasant. It's a little bit of a sore spot for me, honestly, man. I think Aubrey Pleasant is such an incredible coach. I think he's extremely underrated. The second that I heard that the Chargers were hiring Brandon Staley, I was all over social media. Aubrey Pleasant. Let's promote him. And, of course, it didn't happen. I'm not mad about Raheem Morris coming in as DC, but I really wanted to see Aubrey Pleasant there. And I do not think you guys are going to be disappointed in the presence that Aubrey Pleasant brings to that locker room one bit. That he's an absolutely incredible coach. And as a Rams fan perspective, it really sucks to see him go. But you guys got yourself a hell of a coach.
Yeah, Aubrey Pleasant's coming home to Michigan. He's my homie. He's from Flint like I am. So I'm really happy to see him come back to the great state of Michigan. Hey, Joe, we really appreciate you coming on the program and giving us some perspective on the Rams side of the Goff Stafford trade. Hey, you can check out my man, Sheriff Joe Bags, laying down the law on the Rams Showcase podcast. Is on all of your major podcast platforms and the Rams Showcase YouTube channel. If you want to check out some great content, some great graphics, my man Joe puts it down. So go over there and check him out. He's on Sports World Radio as well. So give it up one more time for my man, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Kurt, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you having me.
Hey, no problem. Hey, thanks to my man, Sheriff Joe Bags, or Joe Branham, for doing that interview with me. I appeared on his show a couple of days ago, and he wanted to return the favor to give us some perspective from the Rams side of things. Now it's time to get into the comment cards. Jim, you up first.
Yeah, I've got Tiago Sousa, and he says, I don't think Goff is the answer at QB for Detroit, but due to the connections between Holm and Goff, I believe he's going to stay, as do I. I would trade him to Indianapolis or Denver and get another first-round pick and use it to trade up a bit and get Justin Fields. No. Since Lawrence will probably land in Jacksonville, best scenario is we send Goff to the Jets, get the second pick. Not going to happen. I agree with that. But we can only dream. Ha, 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 ha. Yes, I agree with you that you are dreaming.
Yeah, you're dreaming, bruh.
No. Jared Goff
Yeah.
is staying in Detroit. I don't think we're going to pick a quarterback this year, especially in the first round. I think we go defense quite a bit in this draft. But I also think don't be surprised if we take a wide receiver. Don't be surprised if we take a position you're kind of scratching your head at. I do believe we're going to start going best player available.
Yeah, I think so. I think so as well. And here's my thing, Tiago. I mean, you have your opinion, but we're still going to be on the hook for some of Goff's contract. So you're going to trade him and and draft a quarterback and be on the hook for 3 quarterbacks for one team as far as a big chunk of your salary cap?
Can't do it.
Nah, man.
One other thing that's come up that I don't know is true or not, but I've heard this as one of the Detroit Lions rumors is that former quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, name escapes me for some reason, is coming out of retirement.
Oh, Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck may be coming out of retirement to play for the Indianapolis Colts, which would satisfy their need for a quarterback altogether. But I don't know that to be 100% yet.
I don't know about that one. I know he walked away from the game a little bit. He walked away. He was young. $6 million.
Yeah,
he was $6 million in his pocket. You know what I'm saying?
He should be healed up from his injuries now, and you never know.
Yeah. All right, my man Luke G. Field Review from the DSA. You know, hey, what's up, Luke G? That's my dude right there. Yep. He says, first, what up, though? Second, loving the growth. And third, great show. Hey, we appreciate you, Luke G. As far as the 7th pick, there are 3 options. 1, trade for more picks. 2, take an offensive lineman. Or 3, take a wide receiver. Those are some pretty good options, my man. Yeah. I think my first is the option number 1. I think we need to trade back for more draft capital. If you look at Holmes' track record out there in LA, he does a great job drafting from rounds 2 through 7. He just does.
Look for a quarterback thirsty team. If Trey Lance is there, you got a deal probably, and you could probably trade back, and you might get a haul.
Yeah, you might get a nice haul,
but we might get a
haul with a U.
All right. Galloping Lake 6. Jamar Chase would be tempting if he was still there, but he only has had a year college experience. You're right about that. I have visions of another Mike Williams, who was drafted in 2005 by Matt Millen. We all know that. Yuck. And he was an apparent bust. No, he was a bust.
Yeah, he was apparent.
He was a bust.
I'll put it like this. If you look at the year that Justin Jefferson had out there in Minnesota, and the year that they played together in the national championship year, Jamar Chase was considered a better wide receiver than Jefferson. Chase was the number 1 receiver for that team out there in LSU.
Yeah, and I think it wouldn't be a mistake to take him.
No, I don't think it would be at all either. All right, next up, Preston Riley says, just found you guys and can't stop watching. Love both of your takes on the cardiac cats. Hey, thank you for those kind words, Preston. We really appreciate it. We do it for our family.
Yes, we do. TJS Budster 77 Biggs. Hi, why is your name so long? I'm just kidding. Last 2 years, we were the worst D in the league, giving up 30 points a game. How many QBs will win if they need 35 points?
Every week. I get you, brother. This
is a great take, because all the Stafford haters out there. They're like, oh, but he never won anything. But you need to put up 35 points. They'll be like, oh, if he was so great, he could put up 35 points easy. It's not that easy when you're under pressure to do it every single week.
Every single week, you got to put up 30 points every single week, 35 points. I mean, that's just what the Lions were. They had, if it wasn't a shootout, it was a blowout for a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
We get a defense in here, like the Ravens or, like the Rams, something like that. You never know. We compete every once in a while.
Yes. All right. Andrew Saley is closing it out. He says, depending on what we do in free agency, if we do not address the wide receiver, then I say get Goff a weapon. Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle was good. Now, here's my thing with Waddle. He come off that injury, but he was that year before, he was the top wide receiver on a loaded defense. I mean, excuse me, a wide receiver core out there in Alabama. I mean, he was one of the top. You think about, you had Ruggs and you had Smith, and Waddle was like the apparent going to be the apparent number one just because of his speed. But will he get that speed back after that injury?
I think so. I think you can heal from an ankle injury and keep your speed, depending on how severe. Obviously, it took him out for the year, so well, I don't know.
He came back in the national championship game. He gave it his all. You know, it just wasn't himself. I think he just came back a little early. He just wanted to play in that game to make sure he solidified his career at Alabama with a national championship on the way out the door.
And you know what? There are a lot of talented wide receivers out there this year. I think that for me, I'd rather take the big uglies rather than the flash skill positions. But
yeah, you can get some skill positions in a second, third round. That's going to be good as well.
Right. Because there are so many really good wide receivers in this draft, especially in the top front of the draft. But we'll be doing more on the wide receiver class and all of those things coming up in later shows as we head towards the draft. Question of the day is, what do you think of the new coaching staff? The whole thing put together, the coaching staff, the front office staff. What do you think about what's being built in Detroit? And that's what I want to have you comment on in the comments below the video. What do you think of this new regime, this new coaching staff, GM staff, front office staff? I think it's amazing. I love everything they're doing. But right now, guess what? It is the time for my favorite part of the show, the dessert with Kurt.
Hey, it is time to wish a happy belated birthday to two Alliance that had birthdays recently. It was Jeff Okuda and Tracy Walker on the 1st and 2nd of February, respectively. So happy birthday to those young fellas. You know, you're not getting any younger, but you got to be getting better. So happy birthday to you young fellas. We appreciate you and everything you do for the Detroit Lions. And one other thing, I heard the craziest question, Jim. Someone says, do you think we have too much experience on the staff? How is that possible?
No, I don't think we have too much. How could you have too much experience? Well, the only thing I'm going to say is this, and it does have to do a little bit with our lunchtime Detroit Lions things. Are there too many chefs in the kitchen?
That's the question. Too much chefs in the kitchen. But if everyone plays their role and you know your role and you do your job, then you shouldn't have to worry about being
know your role.
Know your role. You know, jabroni. Know your role, jabroni. So yeah, that is definitely something that we want to look at. But I think I like the way we're doing that with the staff. But I was just kind of taken aback. Do we have too much experience? Not this point. We have something we haven't had.
I want to shout you guys out for showing up and showing out. Past few premieres, hundreds up plus people in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for our new members, Nomish J and Dr. Detroit. To become a member, just click the join button on there and you can get new emojis. You'll get extra content. I know there's going to be a lot of bloopers from today. We're going to put together in a video. So that should be a lot of fun. Just click to join, and that helps out the channel too, so we can get new equipment and get to other platforms and do other things. So we really appreciate you there. Now, Kurt, take us home.
Hey, you know who we are. We are Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. Join the channel, subscribe to the channel, be a part of the family, share the videos, like the videos, comment on the videos. All of these things help us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. And don't forget, join us weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here Monday through Friday for the premieres of our show. And you can chat right along with the staff of the show. And if you want to get your comments right up front, join with a super chat. And you can catch the audio version of our show in the link below. You can go over to bellyupsports.com to check it out as well. And they have a myriad of podcasts and web articles for you with all the major sports leagues. All of your sports needs can be met right there on bellyupsports.com. And shout out to my man, Luke G, the Detroit Sports Alliance. We are definitely a member of that. So, hey, we appreciate our DSA family checking in on us and giving us some good feedback. thanks to my man, Luke G. Now it's time to get out of here. And what we need you to do is whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man, Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, this is Kurt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.